Hi, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Good evening. My name is Mohammad Ghazi Danish and today I'm going to be delivering a talk on social media analytics. Today I'm going to be delivering this talk focusing mainly on sentiment analysis, which is understanding the emotions of customers, understanding the emotions of users on social media platforms. So let's get started. So if I showed you this picture, I think this would be very easy to analyze and understand that what are the emotions of the people here. Clearly a happy picture, clearly someone is sad, someone is in fear, right? He's upset about something definitely. But if I showed you this, now this is long, boring text. And to read this and understand this, probably you will take 5 minutes. And imagine now if I gave you thousands or millions of tweets and comments like this to read and understand and analyze, it would take you some time. And if it was millions, it would be impossible, right? And that's where sentiment analysis comes into the picture. Sentiment analysis is a part of machine learning, and it basically it uses a natural language processing technique, NLP, which is text processing to understand whether the emotions are positive, negative, or neutral in the text which has been provided to the algorithm. It basically understands the consumer feedback and it tells you whether this was something useful, whether this was a positive comment or whether it was a negative comment. So for example, if you look at reviews, if someone is saying their experience has been fantastic, right, that's a positive comment. And someone says the product is okay, I guess, so that's neutral. You can either say it's positive or negative. And someone says your support team is useless, that's a negative experience for the customer, whoever has used the product. And that is the understanding the sentiment of the customer. Sentiment analysis is actually very important in all aspects of social media. It is useful for governmental organizations, for institutions, for private companies, for anyone. So wherever your customer is, wherever your user is, you have to understand what they're feeling about your product. And they're definitely saying something about your product on different platforms, right? So there are 4 categories of sentiment analysis which we actually focus on. The main categories is, one is understanding the emotion, whether it's a positive, negative, or neutral emotion. Second is understanding about the aspect which is being spoken about. So they could be speaking about the product, they could be speaking about your service, they could be speaking about different aspects, and the algorithm tries to understand which aspect is being spoken about. Third is fine-graining the ratings and reviews which are being given by the customer. So if you're using Amazon or Noon, for example, or even on Google reviews, where people come and leave their reviews and comments and they give a rating along with that. So this is a separate topic altogether because that again can be very confusing for someone to analyze it. Because let me give you an example, right? For example, I came across a review on Talabat. When you're scrolling through restaurants, you'll come across such cases where the review was bad. The review was, it said that the food did not arrive on time and I was not happy with the experience, but the customer gave a 5-star, right? And there are cases where customers give bad reviews, they give 5 stars, and they give good reviews and they give 3-star or 4-star. So it matching the connection, whether you just take ratings or you just take reviews, will not be enough. So if I took ratings, for example, and there were cases like this, I would not be able to identify those cases. So the algorithm does it for us. And last category for sentiment analysis is whether the customer, what is his intention, whether he is interested in buying the product or whether he is just browsing, he is like just looking at the market, what is going on in the market. So when we talk about customers, right, when we talk about users, from a business perspective, from a company perspective, usually there are 2 stages. One is getting the customer inside your door, right? First is converting the customer. That is your new customer, right? So that you do it through the top 3 platforms, which are YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. So YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You do it through Facebook ads, through Instagram Reels, through YouTube Shorts and YouTube Reels. Right? And then once the customer, you have finally been able to convert the customer, right? You got the customer to make a purchase. But now you have to maintain that relationship with the customer, right? You have to have that retention. You have acquired the customer, now you have to retain that customer. And that's where the feedback mechanism comes into place for repeat customers. So usually the customers, right, they will be giving their opinion, they will be giving it directly to the company via WhatsApp, right? They could be responding on chatbot, they could be responding to someone from the company, they could be getting getting in touch with an account manager, etc. Or they could be leaving tweets, right? Now, even on tweets, there is, on Twitter, they could be not directly talking about the product or the service. They could be maybe referring to the product or maybe referring to the service and saying that this product is not good in the market. This product is doing very well in the market, right? So that is a retention stage. So first is the new customer. Once he has walked in, he becomes a repeat customer, and that's when he starts giving his feedback on Twitter, etc. Right. So let's look at the numbers for Oman. According to a report, right, there is clear consensus that Facebook is a top social media platform in Oman. These are numbers from 2022, and 51% of the market share is for Facebook. And in the second place, we have Instagram, and in the third place, we have Twitter. Right? And usually in conventional social media metrics, usually a lot of people, a lot of agencies, companies, freelancers will be giving you analysis on what is the number of likes, what's the number of followers, what's the number of, what's your reach, what's your engagement, right? How much ROI is there on the ads, right? What is the conversion, etc. But what I am going to be covering is the sentimental part. This is the conventional part. I am going to be talking more about the sentimental part. So you can see here that Twitter is third, right? This is from April 2023. Twitter is on the third place, but Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, all three of them have written content which needs to be processed. The text needs to be processed. Let me just give you some more clarity on the numbers for Oman. So in Oman, we have, what is the current population of Oman? 5.5 million, somewhere around that figure. In Oman, we have active internet users, 5 million. And so that means we have a penetration rate of 95% in Oman. And this is the highest in the entire GCC. And when we look at active social media users in Oman, we have 4.4 million. So we have an 83% of the population is an active social media user. So by social media user, we don't exactly mean only Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We also consider YouTube and Snapchat, TikTok, all the other LinkedIn, Reddit. We consider all the platforms here. And you can see the report which I've attached here. This is from 2022. So there was recently in the papers that Oman produces 500,000 tweets in a day. There's 500,000 people tweeting in one day. Right, so now imagine if I give you the numbers, 500,000 users are tweeting in a day, which means in a month, 15 million tweets are there. And if I took it annually, there's 180 million tweets which can be analyzed. Now, usually the tweets, this also considers the comments, right? And usually the tweets will not be very clear forward. It will not be just saying that, this is going on. Sometimes it will be indirect. Sometimes it will be direct. Sometimes it will be indirect also, right? And the next data which was there in this report is that 60% of the users were between 15 and 29 years, and 80% were male users. So mostly in Oman, whenever you're having any analysis that you're doing, you have to keep in mind that 80% of the users whom you're considering are male users. And there was also another part of the report that 75% of the tweets are in Arabic, right? So now understanding the sentiment, the algorithms which have been built over time have mostly focused on the English language, and most of the development has happened in English language. But Arabic in itself is a very complex language. Arabic is not as simple as any other language. I would say it is the most complex language in the world, because every region, every person, I mean not every person, but every region is speaking a different dialect of Arabic. If I compared the Omani Arabic to maybe say Lebanese or maybe Egyptian Arabic or Moroccan Arabic for that matter, it's completely different. Right now, this kind of complexity comes into text content also. So the way, the tone in which they're speaking, the colloquial words which they're using, the normal words which you speak in friends, amongst friends, right? Those kind of words which they're using, those words may or may not exist in the library which we have, which the library which is being used to process the text, right? So I've just taken an assumption based on the different languages, linguistics that are being used in Oman. So roughly, you would say that 50% people are speaking the Omani original Arabic, and that is contributing to around 100,000 tweets in Oman. That's from the daily number, the 500,000 tweets which I was talking about. So 100K tweets come in the form of the Omani Arabic. Then there's 25% from the English language, and 15% from standard Arabic. Standard Arabic here refers to more of a professional, more of a textbook Arabic which we're talking about. So Omani Arabic is very yani it is the colloquial, the one which we are speaking amongst our friends and everyone. And other dialects. Other dialects now, if you look at the chart here, so 2.5 million. These are old reports which I've taken from linguistic studies. 2.5 million people speak the Omani Arabic, right? But if you go to the second chart here, now, just in Muscat, you have different linguistic communities like, for example, Lavatis, Zajjali, and then if you go up north in Khasab and Musandam, there is Kamzari language which is spoken. If you come down south to the Zofar region, there is Jabali language which is spoken here. So these are all, I mean, they're all in the same sphere as Arabic, but there is slight tonality and slight difference in the way maybe it is, put in the form of a sentence. So another very important metric for any business, for any product or service business, is net promoter score, right? So since we're talking about sentiment analysis, it's also important to cover what net promoter score is. Net promoter score is actually usually, let me give you an example, right? So if you make a purchase on Amazon, right? So first, immediately it will ask you to rate the product. After you've made the purchase, it will say that, after you've received the product, it will say that rated out of 5. And if you give it a 1 star or a 2 star, so it will then give you 5 categories that choose amongst these categories what went wrong, whether it was a delivery time, whether the product did not meet the specifications, or I received the wrong brand, or I received a damaged item, etc. Right? And if you give a good or a bad review, regardless of that, if your email is there in the system, they send you an email with a form that kindly tell us between 0 to 10, how did you feel about the purchase you just made. So that is what is net promoter score. Giving a score between 0 to 10 gives us a clarity about what the customer is feeling. So if it is between 1 to 5, he is considered as a detractor, that he had a bad experience, he's never going to come back and make a purchase for that product, or he's not going to come back to the platform. Right? And if it's a 6 to 8, it's neutral, that maybe he's feeling good, maybe he's feeling bad, you can't say. But if it's a 9 or 10, he's definitely a promoter. That means he liked the product, he liked your service, and he is most likely to come back. So what is actually calculated here is that you calculate the percentage promoters minus the percentage detractors. So the reason why I'm saying that anything above 0% is good is that your promoters are more than your detractors, right? So even if I had 100 promoters and 99 detractors, that 1% is also good for me. But if I had, let's say, if I got 5 reviews and there were 4 bad reviews and 1 good review, if I had 4 detractors and 1 promoter, so that will put my percentage in negative. 1 minus 4, that'll be in minus 3. So that is not a good number for me. So anything above 0% is good. It should ideally be above 50%, but anything above 0 is considered to be good. So how do you, now coming to how do you actually listen, you have to be listening to all conversation which is happening on social media, but there are key groups which you cannot miss on. So as a brand, I have a risk that, somebody can come and say that, I'm extremely dissatisfied with the service. I'm not at all happy with what happened. And I missed out on that tweet as a company. Imagine what that can do to my brand reputation. I have put my company into risk. I have put the whole brand into risk, and maybe recovering that brand image will take a lot of time. So that's where it comes, you have to extremely focus on areas. So for example, someone has, let's say, 500,000 followers, right? He has a very big reach, and if he makes a comment about your brand, about the service, or about, even if you're talking about governmental institutions, if he makes a comment about something, so that is considered as a high potential person making that comment. So these are the key influencers, right? You have customers, we're obviously listening to everyone. Influencers, industry experts, brand advocates, people who are promoting your brand. They should not be, passing any negative comments about your brand.